I saw Django Kill on a double bill with something else. I've forgotten what it was, at the Scala in Liverpool. And I was so perturbed by it. There was a couple of other films I'd seen that had kind of given me the creeps. But then I saw Django Kill, and it was just about the creepiest film I've ever seen.
No, it's Uncle Mac.
Everything about it was so silly and at the same time perverse and troubling.
No, don't. I'll fight you. I'll fight you.
The film begins with a shot of a hand coming out of a grave, as seen in Los Olvidados, which I assume is a direct homage to Buñuel. It's also a shot that Peckinpah uses in Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. Well, the hand is the hand of Django. Django's already been betrayed and shot by the gringo bad guys and left for dead. So we get pretty quickly, with the arrival of the Indians, into a flashback structure. But it really has that sort of Bruce Conner, Dennis Hopper, the last movie editing strategy at the beginning, where the shots are like 2 frames long. So they're endlessly intercutting shots of this and shots of that and shots of the other thing. And one of the shots is even in upside down. After we get up to speed and we get into the present tense as opposed to the past tense, the editing strategy is a bit more like a regular film, although the various censorship and other cuts that have been made to the film over the years make it more weird and less easy to understand. The alleged plot of Django Kill, it seems to involve a robbery of a Wells Fargo stagecoach, which is being guarded by some Union Army guys who all get killed by a combination gang of American and Mexican bandits. But as often happens in spaghetti westerns, the Americans are far more wily and cunning than the Mexicans. They betray the Mexicans and then kill them all, except for their leader, Django, played by Tomas Milian. Tomas Milian survives and is nursed back to health by these 2 alleged Indians who speak with English accents.
He moves more slowly now because he's old.
They want to hang around with him because they think he can tell them about the happy hunting ground, because he died and has come back to life. So they go on a little revenge excursion to look for the people who betrayed Django's gang. On the outskirts of town, meanwhile, is this gay bandit called Zorro. Zorro has a barrel organ, he has a parrot which he has conversations with, and he has all these guys dressed in mariachi outfits who do his bidding.
Wait, I said, put him down.
So it eventually becomes a sort of a battle of wills between Zorro, Django, and the townsmen as to who will get the gold.
Get those bullets out of him and make sure you bring him to me alive.
Come on, man, help me get him out of here.
I didn't know much about the director, other than from reading the Monthly Film Bulletin that he directed another film called A Curious Way to Love, which was a sort of Italian sex film. Giulio Questi is interested in sex, he's interested in animals. I mean, animals are sort of important in this film. There's sort of various odd kind of 3-legged animals that wander through the film early on. There's a kind of a rotting pig on a spit. There's the famous parrot.
It's time!
The violence in Django Kill is very stylized. It's relentless in how it's piled on and how the camera will dwell on the dead bodies. And at times it sort of switches genres from a Western into like a Mario Bava horror film. And then later read a piece by Chris Frayling, I think, in an old magazine called Cinema, where he talked about the long version of Django Kill and the really weird things that had been cut out of it, and what a masterpiece it had been before it had been cut to ribbons. It was partially disturbing, not just for the violence, but for the lack of any sympathetic character. I mean, there's really nobody that you can relate to in the movie. I mean, Django himself is not a good guy. So it's all varying degrees of badness, you know, whereas in the Leone films, Eastwood was generally a good guy, you know. I mean, he would, like, refrain from doing a bad act, you know, but Django won't. He'll do anything bad, you know, it doesn't matter to him. He's a completely amoral man. Over the years, I would look for Django Kill to try and see it again, to try and find a video. And it had various other titles. It was also known as If You Live, Shoot. And I suppose it was called Django Kill because after the success of the Franco Nero Django film in '66, there was like a whole slew of Django sequels. I found a video version in Mexico City, and I thought, great, because this is going to be the complete version. But it wasn't. It was the English distribution version with Spanish subtitles. Very recently, a guy in Japan gave me a compilation Django Kill, and he had like very painstakingly put together the most complete version of Django Kill that he could. So there was all mixed together on this one videotape, a CinemaScope version in English with Japanese subtitles, a CinemaScope version in Italian without Japanese subtitles, and like a full frame version also in Italian.
Allora ce lo vuoi dire?
As far as I can tell, what was cut out was a lot of story stuff. Some of the scenes play quite long. And in addition, there were cuts that were made, I just think, to reduce the overall level of violence.
Here, you won't feel a thing.
There's a scene where Oakes has been shot with gold bullets. All the townspeople descend on him and start pulling the bullets out of him. That was cut out of all the previous versions that I'd seen. Although it's quite grotesque, it's sort of funny, and really the theme of the film, which is that all anybody cares about is money, and human life is secondary or tertiary in importance. Even if we were able to acquire, a complete version of Django Kill that was sufficiently good quality to be broadcast, it wouldn't be that disturbing. Nowadays,